people are like, hey, I make this cake, and their profile picture is judged for, hey, well, you might not be, a certain shade.
Right.
So in those situations, I tell people, just flat out ask, are you a Black owned business? And so that has happened before. And it's like, well, hey, are you a Black owned business? And the person is like, oh, well, that shouldn't matter. Yes, because when you join a platform and the platform is for that specific purpose, there's no sugarcoating in our intentional of circulating doctors. So if you're not Black owned, then please don't advertise your business. And like I said, other races are in the group and they're like, hey, I'm just here to support because I am not a Black owner of a business, but I still want to eat Jamaican food. I still want to know where, this bakery, or, I want to be a part of that. So either asking out front, some other people, I would go through their profile, or some members would tag me. I'm like, Rochelle, this person looks suspicious. And so I would like, okay, let me go through. And the same thing they can be doing, which is go through profile, go through photos, other content. And it's just, if you're trying to sell something, you can't hang out here. But, if it's other conversations going on, we're not a racist group, we're not a prejudice group, but we are intentional.
Okay. So if you do find someone that is perpetrating, are you able to kick them out of the group? Do you still have that power?
Yes, I'm able to block.
Okay.
Block them from the group. I can delete. If I see their name, I can go through and delete all of their posts if they posted before and I didn't catch it. A lot of people have in which everybody has the power to, if they see a comment or if they see a post, they can report the post or report the comment. I get a notification saying a group member has reported a comment or a post, and then it comes up kind of in a screen that I can see, the admins and moderators of the group can see, and I have the option to either keep them in or delete the post or delete and block the person. So I do still have those powers.
Okay. So I have one more question about the Facebook group. And it's not really about the group, but it's about Black owned businesses. Do you feel like all Black owned businesses should be supported? Here's why I ask, because I think a lot of people do stuff just to do it, just because they saw their friends doing it, and they don't put the effort that goes into running a business. And then, like, for example, I saw on the Facebook group, somebody was venting that they ordered a pair of leggings, I believe it was, from another company, not mine, from another company, and they still haven't gotten it yet. So this is why sometimes we don't support Black owned businesses. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so, and here's the thing that I hate about social media. In this wave that we're in, if we're so quick to cancel, it's like cancel culture is what they call it. So it's like,
the cancel culture.
Oh, I called her and she didn't call me back in 10 minutes. And see, this is why I don't do business with Black folks. And it's like, well, you have an issue when you're at Walmart because there's not enough lanes and you're standing, in one of 3 lanes out of 27 in this long line. And you don't sit there and be like, see, this is why I don't shop at Target. Because it sounds stupid. But as soon as you have a problem with one business, this is why I don't deal with Black businesses, like this whole big umbrella. Like you have a problem at Red Lobster, you don't say this is why I don't go out to eat no more. Or this is why I don't go out to eat at Chili's. So number one, that mentality is not helpful at all to yourself or to the businesses at all. Some of the conversations that we have in the group are, one, the platform is not used to vent and rant. And some people just want to be quick to show that they have power, that, oh, if I complain about this business, I can get all these people to be like, don't do business with her and, spread the gossip.
Right.
But what I also tell people, because sometimes they're business owner themselves, that's a reflection of you as a consumer and as a business, of how you talk about people and how you deal with people. And then there's so many layers. Like another layer is customer service, definitely. But your main question, as far as should we support all businesses, support the service, the customer service. So if you're not having, if you didn't have a good experience at a particular business, there are so many others that's going to do that same type of business. Probably go somewhere else. Even when I get my hair done, I have other options. And granted, I like to support different people. So some people who I do business with understand that, hey, if I have a braid girl, something may come up with her. And I'm like, oh, this is why I don't know. This is why I know 3 different people that know how to braid hair. So I want you to do it. But at the time that you're not available, let me see if she's available. Let me see if she's available. Who has the schedule, the options. Another thing is some people label themselves as business owners when they really are just hustlers. And so if it's a business, meaning if I'm investing in myself, or you see the hard work that I am trying to provide customer service or build my brand, you tend to gravitate towards people based on how they invest in themselves and in their business to do what is right, to provide quality products, to provide a certain service. Those people are passionate. You may run into one, you may come across a person who wasn't, but the people who are hustlers just, hey, that's a good idea. Let me go get a Cricut machine and start making shirts. But you don't understand all the work that go into it. You just see that it's the dollar, and it's going to end up showing in your product. So if that person is passionate and you see them growing, or you see that they're trying to be passionate, give them a try. If they don't succeed, like I've been to businesses, restaurants that just opened. Like I'm proud that they're in the neighborhood. I'm proud that they have joined the business industry. But when I went there, the service sucked. The food was me personally, I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna give you about 6 months to build up and get it right. Like I had a horrible experience, but I'll come back around in 6 months and see what you're doing then. So I don't just quick to give up on people. It's just I'm gonna let you go handle that. One of the the most recent issue, because this happened yesterday, there was a guy in the group, and he was posting like contract work of building bars, building closets, building offices, whatever you needed, hanging TVs, all of that. And lots of likes, lots of comments, lots of business from the group. And one particular person reached out, was like, I hired him, but his work didn't look like the pictures she posted. And matter of fact, the pictures something don't look right. So fast forward, she was correct. In the midst of me making a post, I was like, I don't want to judge. So business peers, y'all help me on this one. Look at the picture and see if it looks right. Somebody said you can Google scan photos to see if there was an original. And lo and behold, all of his pictures that he said was his work was screenshots from YouTube videos that he claimed as his work.
Wow.
After finding this out, putting on blast, he finally reached out, have a conversation, which, I guess you can't hide when, I know a lot of people, the mutual friends, the community. Like I said, the social media is when your name is out there in the negative, it can be damaging. Correct. So it ended with me apologizing, because I never want to beat a person down. I do want to give people a benefit of the doubt. He does perform that type of work, but you were just falsifying marketing to get attention. And here's the thing: when businesses are honest, when businesses are honest, like I said, when they put the passion, when they put the work in, you will get the job. It will come to you. And so cheating that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You'll lose more than you'll gain. So.
Wow. All right. Listen, there's so much more we got to talk about. And I know you said we have to wrap this up by a certain time. So you got to come back on the show. You got to come back on the show because there's so much more that we can talk about. But I want to ask you another question. Being a businesswoman, because that's what you are, being a Black businesswoman, how hard is it to navigate business and your personal life?
So my plate is colorful and full. Trying to navigate with the personal life. So when I tell you this is my passion, it's funny because I tell people, or I get asked a lot, like, I went to college, I have degrees. My day-to-day work is in IT, but it's not what I went to school for. Mm-hmm. And so people will often ask, like, what is it, is this your career choice? And I'm like, no, like I always just wanted to make a difference in my community. I wanted to make a difference doing things when it came to impacting the youth or students. And so I may not have, I have a little bit of that job title in a sense, but everything I do is what I love, and I merge it all together. So I'm the alumni president of my high school.
And what high school is that?
The Great Boyd H. Anderson High School. Go Cobras.
Yes.
Class of 99. Shout out to
class of 99. Yes. Shout out to the class of 99. Let's not do that again. We're revealing our age. Okay. Let's keep that on the low.
I just turned 20. So
okay. I got you.
Yeah. So the with the high school level, with my membership in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, there are several programs in which there is one part of the organization, which is economic development, which is, my favorite area of work to work in. So impacting through that. And again, this group, several platforms. I am building the websites, kind of take it further than my county and my state, which is the bobsource.com. And so I'm doing everything I love with everything that I'm connected to. And so merging that, like a lot of people know my son. Some people ask me about my son. I'm like, who are you? And they're like, I see him. Like, because I want him to see that. So anytime I'm going to a vendor pop-up shop or Black owned businesses, I make sure I bring my son with me so he can see. So it's not a shock to him when you see a Black man or a Black woman in a particular role. So he was born in the era of Barack Obama being the president. So that's not going to be shocking for him like it was for me. Correct. And then when we go to the ice cream shop, when we go to the men's suit shop, when we have food trucks, everything looks Black, to him. So it's not a surprise for him. And so that's my greatest joy, is to see that he sees himself in all these opportunities and just, being around everything to where it's normal for him.
So you just mentioned something, and it triggered a question for me to ask. With you having a son and you doing everything that you can to uplift the Black community, how important is it for you to teach him ownership instead of trying to work for a living? Because I think a lot of times that's one of the things that we weren't taught when we were coming up. We weren't taught ownership. And when you look at a lot of things in today's society, it's better to own or partner than to have to work for someone, because you have more creative control, and it can lead to generational wealth, which is, again, another topic that we can discuss another day. But how important is it for you to teach your son ownership?
So ownership, like even when I started my consulting company, it's called Davis and Cox. Although my name is Davis -Cox, it's Davis and Cox because his last name is Cox. And so it's both of our business. And so even when I started that, I sat him down next to me on the computer and kind of show him step by step, like, this is what I go through. So, or even times when he is like, oh, I want this truck or I want this car, I don't just say, no or yes. I explained certain situations. And I remember like going to the auto zone, and I'm just picking up different things for the car, and he's like, no, like put that back, we don't have enough money for that. And so I was like, what? Like, I need this for the car. And he was like, no, you spend too much money now, you won't have it for this other reason. And so even intentional and non-intentional learning for him when it comes to that, like for the most important part, I want to teach him financial responsibility, if nothing else. Although ownership is great, and it's, like you said, you're not working for anybody else, being able to just receive that wealth directly. Some people, ownership is not for everybody either.
It's not. Lord
And
have mercy,
so I
preach.
don't want to push him into a box. And if he should fail or not relate to it, I don't want him to feel like a failure. So if I should never see that day that he becomes an owner or has to make that decision whether he wants to have his own or whether he wants to be the best CEO of something that he can be, I want to at least, the most important part is the foundation and the financial responsibility and the wealth to be able to pass down. So that's more important to me than just the label or the title of ownership for me.
No, I totally agree with you. I remember I was watching an interview on the Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne made what to me was a very valid point. They were talking about reparations, and should the African American community receive reparations for slavery. And he explained that his concerns or fear of us getting reparations is basically we're going to do stupid things with the money because we don't have the financial literacy or understanding of how to invest and spend money. So we're just going to turn around and make these billion-dollar companies even richer because we're going to take the money and run out and buy stupid stuff. So I totally agree with you. Not everyone is supposed to be a boss, even though we live in a generation where everybody feels like they're a boss. It's okay to clock in and clock out. But what do you do with the money? So I totally understand where you're coming from about the importance of financial literacy, because you can get it, but then what are you going to do with it?
Right. And I learned a long way.
Yeah,
with
I think
that,
we all did.
Yeah.
I think we all did, because I don't think it was something that we were taught. Like and correct me if I'm wrong, because you were more into like school than I was. I was just there for anyway. I don't think we were taught I don't think they had certain classes like that where they taught us financial literacy and business ownership and stuff like that. I don't think those were actually offered. If they were, I don't know about them.
No, I had on-the-job training. I know I had a record keeping class, and that's when they used to teach us like how to write in a checkbook and balance. Like I did have that class, which is not offered anymore. And what you see now, because that has been generations from the time we probably got out of high school to now, you see more people of our generation creating programs to partner with the schools to teach financial literacy. So, and it's funny because recently I don't know if you ever watched this show on Netflix, which is called All American. It's about a football show. Yeah. And so the last, I done caught up on all the episodes, but in one particular episode was when all the senior, guys were desperate about, oh, am I going to get this offer to, go to college football or NFL opportunities? And some kids are not in a position to make it through sports. And that's one of my pet peeves. Like, I hate when people push sports as the only definition of success from a student, going out of high school. But in that particular situation, Coach Baker, he started holding a class to teach financial literacy. Yeah. Because the most important thing was to know how to make it. Even after they had a TV show, I think it was with I don't want to say Chad. I'm not sure if it was Terrell Owens or Chad Ochocinco, where it was a football show of how to manage if you don't get the NFL career, or if you're, you tear a ligament and then it's over, and then it's like, you're now what? So we see so many situations where it's, if this don't happen, then how do you maintain? So
Right.
that's why it's more important on financial literacy and financial responsibility, because what if this don't go right? Do you know how to manage? Do you know how to save? Do you know how to
Right.
prepare? And so even with me being a first generation college student, and I have my master's, but I'm the only person who ever went to college. And that's why I say my background is colorful, because it was a struggle. I knew nothing. I had no pass down. I didn't even know what a HBCU was until in the middle of school. But my family was always like, so like, college, if you go, like, there were times I was struggling. I was like, uh-oh, I might can't afford this. I might need to stop. And my family was always like, it doesn't matter. We never went to college, and we have houses. We have, everybody's doing good and doing fine. So although that's not the road I wanted to take, because I really wanted to be in college, that was one of the most important feelings that my family could ever instill in me, was there's no one way to be successful, and to be financially responsible, when no matter what decision you make, no matter what route you take, no matter what journey you take, financial literacy, financial responsibility is very important, and it's going to carry you through. That's going to be your, whether you make it or not.
Correct. Rochelle, I got to get you out of here, because again, I know you got to go. We probably went over our time. I just have one more question for you. And again, you have to come back, because there's so much more we got to talk about. Yesterday was the 20th anniversary of 9/11. I know that is one day in history where anyone who's old enough to remember where they were will always remember. Where were you when that happened?
I was at the Fort Lauderdale riverfront. My grandfather's sister, which is the matriarch of our family, she's I actually just visited her last month for my birthday. She was in town visiting from Connecticut, and I had took her on a boat ride. So when we got back, it was like we were walking back, like, okay, where are we gonna eat? And some weird feeling, everybody just kind of like stood still. And so you know how you're like, is it in my head,
Right.
or everybody stopped walking? And I think it was either Hooters or Dan Marino, whoever had the big TV, and everybody is just like frozen and stuck looking at the TV like, what is happening right now? What is going on? And everybody just congregated, to the TVs, to the restaurant, to be like, oh my gosh, like, is this really happening? And so I'll never forget, I was at the riverfront, which is kind of demolished now, but
Yeah.
that was where I was when that happened.
I was in college and I was supposed to go. I had an 8 a.m. class and I didn't go. I know my mom is probably gonna ask me why, because I skipped a lot of class. She's gonna watch this. Hi, Mom. My friend called me, and my friend Patrick called me. He was like frantic. Hey, turn on the TV. I'm like, for what? He was like, man, just turn on the TV. I said, okay. To what channel? He was like, any news channel, just turn it on. So I turned it on, and I don't know if it was a replay or if it was happening at that moment, but as soon as I turned it on, I saw, I don't know if it was the second plane or the first plane flying into one of the buildings. And my initial reaction was, well, I guess I don't have class today. And I rolled over and went back to sleep. It's bad. It's bad.
Help them, Jesus. Typical college student.
First, I was supposed to be in class. So I was like, well, I guess I don't have class for the rest of the day, or to whatever I said. And I went back to sleep. And not until I woke up and then I started looking at the TV again. And I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, is this really happening right now? But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because, like I said, yesterday was the 20th anniversary. We just want to honor and remember everyone that lost someone or lost their lives and due to that tragic event. You didn't lose anyone, did you? Was your family affected by that?
No, thankfully I had an aunt that did work down in that area, and well, which was my grandfather other sister. She one of those that just want to work until she can't walk anymore. And we didn't have contact with her for like 3 days, and so we're like, where are you, like, she's in New York, and finally got in contact with her, and she was like, I didn't go to work that day. So I was like, you didn't answer the phone. Like, everybody is just like, oh my God. Cause she's literally like the oldest. She was the oldest sibling. So,
Right.
Being old, like ain't nobody rush her. Like, she's just that type of woman. And so it's one of those moments that, when something be so serious and then the older person's just like,
they're looking at it like, I wasn't even at work, right?
Like, y'all calling too early in the morning.
Oh man, Rochelle, listen, I thank you for your time. I know you got to get out of here. Again, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, you have to come back on the show because there's more. We have to talk about your consulting agency and, just have a conversation. But it was great seeing you. And for everyone who's going to watch this video, please remember to subscribe to the Real Lions Den on YouTube. And again, we look forward to hearing more from Rochelle Davis Cox.
I made it to the